All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? It's Gary Wise Leadership Solutions. Words from the Wise. Going to do some more of those video reactions tonight, but I'm going to do it live this time, uh, just because I figure it'd be a little more fun that way. Maybe if there's anybody out there that want to jump on the comments, I could see them, or they could see me, or we could talk, or we could interact that way. Just curious to see if that works too. Uh, Here we go. Let's see what we can find to watch tonight, or at least for this first one. I might do a couple of these. I got some time on my hands. Hopefully, everyone's having a good day. I just got through working out, and we're just all kind of taking it easy in our house. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Here goes our first video. Okay, this is Patrick Bet David. I'm not sure when this video was shot. I love this guy, man. I love his content. I think he's phenomenal. I've been watching him for a long time. I think he's done some great series, and I'm interested to hear what he has to say. Hopefully it's good stuff. Let's go ahead and turn the volume up, make sure I can hear it. All right.
So you ever wonder why certain leaders get the best out of their people and some leaders don't? You ever wonder why certain people love working for their boss or their leader or their whoever it is? Man, I don't know why they want to run through the wall for him or her. Why is it that they do so many different things? Why are they dying to be on that person's team? But how come they don't do it for me? I want people to treat me.
What happened?
Better. I want people to be loyal to me. Why does he have loyalty? I can't find loyal people. I hear this all the time. Let me unpack this entire concept for you, and hopefully this will make sense to you. So think about it this way. In a week, you have 168 hours in a week, right? 160, that's 24 times 7, 168 hours in a week. Say you sleep 8 hours a night times 7, that's 56 hours. That leaves us around 110 hours in a week. Out of that 110 hours a week, think about what portion of that 110 hours is spent waking up, going to work, lunch, drive. How many hours is that? Can we say 55, 60 hours? Let's say 60 hours is spent waking up in the morning. You're not around family. You wake up, toothbrush, shower, shave, car, prepare clothes, drive, get there at work. You go lunch with your peers. You come home, drive. So say 60 hours a week you're working, preparing all that stuff. 50 hours a week is left here for family. Out of that 50 hours a week, say 10 hours is running errands, you're going around doing certain things. Then some of the times you're watching TV, and then it's actual time with your family, right? What does this math tell you? That the average person spends more time with the people they work with than their own family, which means your work team environment becomes your second family. Now, some people may say, well, that's a shame that people spend more time with their family than with their coworkers than their own family. No. If a person spends more time with their family than the people they work with, they're probably broke. I just want you to know this. The kids are probably not in the best place financially. This is why we go to work, to be able to provide for the people we love the most. So now, let's look at this. Families who have kids that are loyal to their parents and leaders who have coworkers or team members that are loyal to them, what do they have in common? Here's what it is. I watch a lot of people, when they have certain people that work for them, they see them as, he's my worker, like you own them type of a deal. Nobody's ever going to stay with you long term if you look at a person now, that's my worker. No one likes to work for somebody like that. They don't. No kid wants the parent to kind of be like, well, you know, it's because of me that they did this. Kid wants to have their own identity, to be loyal to their family, right? A loving type of an environment. How do you create a deeper relationship with certain people you work with? Here's what it is.
Hold up. All right. Hey, hold on. Let's talk about this real fast. So I love how he broke down the amount of time we spend out and about in the world. I literally just taught this subject to my students about a week ago, where I taught them, I discussed with them that they would spend most of their waking hours at their place of employment or doing the thing that they believe is their calling more than being at home in this false narrative that they're just going to sit on their couch all the time and do nothing, right? Like we literally did the exact same thing PPD just did in this video, which was we broke it down. We broke down essentially how long you might be sleeping, how long you might be commuting, we really did. And the reason why we broke it down, I'm not sure where he's going to go with this. I'm looking forward to hearing that part next. But what we broke it down for was because I wanted to teach them that if you did not align where you spent the majority of your time to do something that brought you more fulfillment than just a paycheck, then you are probably going to be very frustrated and you're probably not going to find the fulfillment you're looking for in life. And life was too short to live that way, right? So if you had to go do something, right? Like if you got this job and this is the job you got and I support you and taking care of your business, then I want you to find more reasons to get value out of that time spent at that job than just a paycheck, right? And you've got to dig into it. You got to make it work. You got to figure it out. And then if you're not happy being there, then you start working the strategic plan to get out of that space, right? But we literally talked about that. We talked about how, okay, if you're in high school and you're spending, 6 hours a day, 5 days a week at the high school with all these different hundreds of people in one location, how many different things can you be working on while you're there? Plus, you get access to multiple educators who have all had multiple levels of experience in life. Plus, you get to do all these different extracurricular activities. Plus, you get to, there's just all kinds of ways you can use that time better than just, I would say, complaining or walking around all day wishing you were asleep still or wishing you were somewhere on a couch or whatever, right? And so exactly what PBD is talking about is what I believe that to be true. And then he talked about loyal kids to parents, loyal workers to leaders. So let's see where this is going to go, but very interesting stuff. All right, here we go.
The people that I've seen over the years who get loyal people that run through the wall for them, and eventually they have a core group of people that want to be in business with them for years after year after year, for years to come. Here's what they do. While the average leader only takes a relationship one layer deep or maybe two, the one that earns loyalty goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 layers deeper. The one that goes 6 layers deeper eventually wins loyalty. The one that goes 2 doesn't win loyalty. So let's unpack this, what it means. So I read a book once called Thank God It's Monday. It's written by a psychologist, a marriage therapist, that talks about, thank God it's Monday. Most husbands cannot wait for it's Monday to be away from family. Oh my gosh, it's so problematic. I want to go to work. I'm sick and tired of being around family, crying, screaming out, arguing with my wife. I want to go to work, right?
All right, hold on. I want to hit that one real fast. Hey, I love deploying. I did. I love travel. I do. I love being operational and doing the things that make me excited. But if you're in this, it's okay to look forward to those things. There's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong with going to work and finding fulfillment and doing those things. Just be cautious if you're finding that fulfillment purposefully at the expense of cutting something else out that's supposed to be value added in your life, right? And I just tell you that from the position of, 25 years in the service, 30 years of leadership and dealing with people, and I've seen a lot of people not make it. They used to always say this thing in the Navy that was, you want someone to be there when it's all said and done. You want someone to be there. You want your family still to be with you when it's time to walk off the brow for the last time. And you don't want to lose your family because you're always trying to find reasons to not be there. That's something that if I have a friend or if I had somebody who was working with me or serving with me or that we were talking, I would 100% hype them up for wanting to come to work, as long as it's because they want to come serve, because they want to get the job done, because they love who they are while they're doing it. But I also want them to remain loyal to back home. And I'll tell you, because God, it's hard going back home after being gone for so long and not worrying about certain things. I used to tell people, one of the most stress-free days you'll ever have is the first day of a 7-8 month deployment on a ship, right? Because for the next 7, 8, 9 months, whatever it's going to be, all that matters ultimately, really, outside of major crisis, is everything that's on board that ship. right? If there's something going on at home, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to get there and take care of it. I used to have my wife, Erica, drive me to the ship because I use on steamships a lot of the time. So I'd have her drive me down to the ship um, the night before because we'd light off. And I was happy to go to the ship the night before because then she could get home. I could get the phone call that I knew she was home safe, and I get a good night's sleep in my rack. I'd wake up in the morning ready to rock and roll. Everybody else is boohooing on the pier, missing their family, and I'm locked in. Like time to go. Right. I already crossed those parts off. Um, and so that part's exciting, right? But then when you do come back home, you have to put the work in to reconnect. You have to put the work in to not throw apart the whole routine that's been set up with your kids and your wife and the family, but also reintegrate yourself into what's going on. And it's hard. And I'm sure this is not just the military. I'm sure there's a lot of places. And we listen to what PPD's talking about. He's talking about a person who's so excited to go to work because it's Monday because they get to get out of the house and get away from their family. Um, just I look forward to Mondays too because I do like going to work. I like going to see my students. I like going to do the things that I choose to do with the most of my time, right? But I also love going home, and I think it's okay to do both, right? All right, moving back into the video. This is a good one. I like. Hey, this is like 4 years old too, so PPD's been putting out good stuff, man. All right, here we go.
He said, after 20 years of being a psychologist and I watch which marriages work the best, the ones that work the best is the husband gave undivided attention to the wife where she was able to talk to him and say, here's what my day looked like. And both of them got the dosage of it. The parents who got the best out of their kids, each night, each kid got undivided attention, a 5-minute call, a 5-minute conversation. Like, so how was your day? What were you doing? What happened today? Really? What happened today with, oh no, what's Mary doing? How's Bobby doing? Undivided attention, right? One-on-one is the highest level of quality relationships you build, where you build loyalty. One-on-one. The bigger the group setting it is, the easier it is on you, but the layer of loyalty goes lower and lower and lower. The more one-on-one it is, smaller group it is, loyalty goes higher. So that's family. Now let's bring that to business. So if a boss works like this, hey, John, how you doing? Great. Did you get your job done? Phenomenal. Great. Have a wonderful day. No. If I've never met the wife, if I've never met the husband, if there's not an environment where I get to know my at least direct reports, I want to know the family. I want to know who the kids are. I want to know what your goals are. I want to know what your dreams are. I want to take you out to lunch. I want to go to coffee. I want to spend some time with you, one-on-one. The more the layers go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, the more relationships you build. The more it's transactional, people feel it. You can't just fake it, by the way. People know when it's transactional, when it's just like this. And the more sincere it is. And by the way, some people are watching and say, well, Pat, I do everything right and I still can't find loyal people. Well, maybe you haven't done it long enough. And maybe you got to give a little bit more time, because it took me a couple of years as well until I find the loyal people myself that have been with me for decades now, 15 years. And how come they're not leaving? Because I understood they matter more than I matter. The priority has to be with them. I have to understand what's important to these guys. I got a call yesterday from one of my guys that they're having a challenge with. They're working with a certain client of theirs that's in New York. How do we deal with this New York client? Do you know them? Do you know the spouse? Do you know the kid? Do you know this? I don't. Why don't you go to relationship first, then go to selling, then go to all that other stuff? First comes trust, then comes loyalty. First comes trust, then comes speed. First you gain my trust, then you can challenge me. First you gain my trust, then you can give me advice. But you got to figure out a way to earn my trust for me to say, this guy cares about me. This is somebody I want to be in business with for a very, very long time. So if you're watching this, I got a challenge for you. If you're watching this, you're saying, well, Pat, how do I test this out for myself? Make a list of the people that are the most loyal to you. Ask yourself, how many layers deep of a relationship have you built with them? Make it a list of the people that you value the most. What haven't you done with them? And what do you need to start doing today to make that relationship deeper and deeper and deeper? Do you need to put a barbecue at your house and invite them over? Do you need to say, well, can I take you out and my wife and your wife and the four of us go out to dinner together? Can you do something with the kids to have a, getaway and they're just kind of having a party together at the house by the pool and hanging out, or going to a park together with the kids, their kids and your kids, and building a relationship together? The stronger these bonds get, you remember in birthdays, anniversaries. The stronger these bonds get, eventually you're going to look around and say, my gosh, we got a big group of loyal people, and your leaders start treating their teammates and their direct reports the same way you did to them. Now you got a strong team that's willing to run through the wall for everybody together, and the vision's becoming a reality. So if you watch this video, there was value for you with watching this video. I got another video I want you to watch. I made this video a few years.
All right. Okay, we'll go ahead and just stop this video right here. I was with him all the way till the end, then it kind of went off the wheels for me a little bit. Spoken like a leader. And again, I love PBD. I love him. I think he's a great guy. And I'm sure that he's got the opportunity to take, like he said, his direct reports out. That's great, right? My experience has been typically my teams are I mean, the smallest my team has been since 2010 was probably about 50 to 60 people, to the biggest, which was thousands of people at the installation level, right? And even right now, my team is, 180 plus students, plus 2 instructors that I teach with, right? And then, of course, my family. Is time is a priority. It's a commodity, right? And so there's not always the time for the social life to add on to the extra things that he's talking about, which to give everybody the one-on-one time. So that's one. One way we counter that, at least in my experience, especially like with my commanding officers, my XOs when I was a CMC, now with my other fellow instructors, or with my leading cadets who are the top tiered leaders of my battalion, it is focused conversations at work, right? And I'm not saying meetings. No, these are more like targets of opportunity, conversations where we could talk about the priorities that we've all got going on. And then we also sync up on outside of work challenges, right? Schedules, operational concerns, people problems. And I'll tell you, back on the ship, I used to have to tell my CEO, like, sir, we need to go ahead and go home, because we could sit in here and talk shop all night long, and because it's all what we love to talk about, but we've got to go home at some point. We got to call it a day. And it's the same thing at school. Like this morning, I went in to go see my boss before the kids even got to campus, and we were probably in there just talking shop about 30 minutes before. I mean, I should have been probably over my classroom, getting my classroom stuff ready, but he had been gone for a couple of days, and we needed to take that time to sync up. So I think that finding the time to communicate with your people, in my opinion, during the work time is probably the best time. But don't make it, like, I agree with what he said. Don't make it always transactional. And I was the same way on the ship, right? On the ship is a little easier because we could all go to dinner or lunch in the chief's mess, and we could talk, or I could shoot the breeze with my sailors in the shops, or give them time off and just go in there and watch TV with them, and we could talk or whatever it was. Which I would do that, and that was how I'd get a lot of the community. So I guess I agree with what he's saying. I don't look at it from the context of going out to get some dinner or going out somewhere, because again, I'm not sure where he was at with his family at that time, but I will tell you that having children at home, typically it's kind of hard to work a social life, especially when we've all got the same things at home and the same detractors. And what makes us good teammates at work, not everybody always wants to go be best friends outside of work, and that's okay too. One fun fact about us in the military is we get a lot of implied loyalty. What that means is we give it almost immediately based off of who we all are, right? Based off of your rank, based off your position. The majority of us that are professionals will give the loyalty up pretty quick, because we know we're loyal to the organization, and inherently you're going to get that loyalty. Now, if you burn that, sucks to be you, bro, because we're not going to give that back quick. You screw that up, you're in trouble. But we'll give you that fair loyalty right off the bat. I agree that getting to know your people, getting to know your teammates, letting them get to know you will always be a winning position, right? Letting them know the areas of your concern, letting them know the areas of your happiness, of your frustration, of your not sure where to go next, giving them an opportunity to take a bite of the apple and to chop on it a little bit and to give you some advice. All that's super crucial. And if you can do that, oh, by the way, I've found a good thing to do with your people is to have them included in the conversations about what the future is going to hold. Right. So I think at the end of the day, the video is great. I love Patrick Bet David, Mr. Patrick Bet David. Right. I don't know the guy personally. I would love to call me up, man. I'd love to be on your freaking podcast. I'll tell you guys what you want to hear. Right. Okay. That's it for tonight. I had some free time, feeling kind of jazzed up. It was a great day at work, man. It was uniform inspections today, but all the kids came in wearing their uniforms looking strong. It's our last official uniform inspection of the year at the school. Next one is our end of year awards ceremony, and we're getting to the end. I told my buddy, I got a buddy, I do a podcast every Monday called Words from the, well, not every other Monday called Words from the Wise. And on that podcast, the idea is it's going to be people that I served with my time in the military or people that I'm connected through via the military. And I told my buddy who's on this next Monday, I was like, man, this deployment's almost over. And he was like, what? And I was like, I look at every school year like it's a deployment. Swear to God, I do. I look at every day at school is a fast cruise, right? So for those of you that know what fast cruises are, right? We pull up the brows, we close down the quarter deck, and there's only one way on the ship, one way off the ship, and we're gonna practice everything that we preach for that day. It's the same thing at the school, right? As soon as that bell rings, we shut that place down. There's one way in, one way out, and there's a mess decks. We call that the student union. I call it the galley, right? Or the mess decks. And there's P-ways all over the place on bulkheads and heads, and we're underway, right? And we hit Liberty ports, call those the weekends, right? Those are Liberty ports. It really does feel like a ship. It really does. Every morning I'm watching the principals and the assistant principals walking around with their radios, and that just takes me back to being a master chief on board the ship again, getting the ship underway and watching everybody communicate, or back on the installation and watching the gate guards work traffic. It's super, super similar. So it's very it's like being on installation when you're on the school grounds, which I know that people say, oh man, it sucks out of public school. It feels like that, but it's just how I look at things. And we do have force protection, and we do have rules and regulations, and we do that for the safety of everybody. So we do that so we know what's going on. But this deployment, this school year is almost over. We've got about 3 weeks left, and then it's only a few. When I was a kid, I thought summer vacation lasted forever, but looking at the calendar, man, these kids are only gone for about 8 weeks, and I'm taking a bunch to leadership school training up at the Army camp, Camp Landing, and then I'm taking a bunch more to a drill camp in June. So even though there's no school, we're still doing stuff with the cadets. Really, we get the month of July pretty much to ourselves to do whatever we want to do, and then we're back at it again the first week of August, and we're going to deploy again, and it's away we go, right? So it's a busy time of the year for sure. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and end this stream. Just good practice. Let me put on my eyes here and see if anybody logged on or if anybody came in. Can't really tell, but it's okay. No, I'm not too worried about it. It's just I'm testing this out. This camera's not the best. It goes against everything that they say in all the YouTube videos about what to do and how to do it. But, I'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time, man. Have a good night, everybody. Bye.